just say, wow.
That was a wow. That was a wow.
And right from the start, that presumably wasn't the script.
Yeah, when he missed the break, I was thinking, why? Maybe I shouldn't have brought him. Maybe he's getting tired, or I was thinking all these things were going through my mind. I was telling my wife Jill that here this great horse who's dead last, giving him this head start, and then down the backside, I didn't know if he was running or not, and I saw Mike was just sitting on the outside, so I thought, well, maybe Mike will, take care of him, won't abuse him. And then the far turn, and then he started making a little move, and I thought, wait a minute, I got a little hope. And then when they turned for home, I told my wife, if he wins this race, he's the most incredible horse I've ever seen. And here he comes, and I knew once he had him in that, he's got that long stride, and he sees a target in front of him. I started feeling like I get emotional, like, wow, I'm involved with this. We're watching something, like I said, it was like watching a movie, Seabiscuit or something like that. It was like a Hollywood type finish, and it's incredible that this horse, he came here, and it was a long ship, all week long. I could tell the long from the barn. So I told Mike, I don't know if he'll be like a Super A game, but he's the last couple of days he's been really training well, so he'll be fresh. So I'm just glad that I have a great team. Jimmy, Dana Barnes, they work so hard. Dana's been over here, and I wish Opportunity would have run a little bit better. I was actually watching more Opportunity than I was Arrogate, because I thought, well, forget about him. Where's Hopper, And so, but all I can say is, Mike Smith, Big Money Mike, he was sitting back there, and he just said, when they left, he just let the horse gather himself. He's still a big kid learning how to run, and so, he can go in the lead, he can be last, it's just an incredible. I think what we saw today was, I think he stamped his legacy was like, how incredible is this horse?
Mike, and obviously your trainer has clearly gone through a lot of emotions watching that. What was going through your mind? Were you calmer than your trainer appears to have been in the early stages of the race?
I had to be. I had no choice, to be honest with you. Once we got away like that and got squeezed, leaving there, I had no choice but to just sit there, let him collect himself, let him gather himself, and then see where we're at down the backside. I rode a great mare, Zenyatta, that used to come from way back there, and it took her a little while before she'd get going, and so I had so much confidence in him. Once I got to the backside and he leveled off, I just moved a little, and he jumped at him, and when he did that, I thought, we're still here, and we weren't far off him, and we got this long stretch. I actually kind of geared him down a little bit again, just because I didn't want to get running and hit the front of the quarter pole and then have him just, looking around and made such a big middle move. And then when I called on him heading for home, man, he just took off, and it was just incredible. I mean, just incredible.
Is that his performance of a lifetime so far, given the sort of whole way the race went and everything?
I won the Breeders' Cup Classic on Zenyatta, and people say that was the greatest race. I think this race just topped it.
Bob, have you ever got? I mean, you've won so many races and been emotional races when there's a lot at stake. But given what you've just said, was that perhaps in all your career as sort of the biggest roller coaster you've been on in just over 2 minutes?
Yeah, that was very emotional for me, because I went from just like I couldn't believe it. We came all this way for this. How could he break so poorly? And it was like I was like the rest of I heard the whole crowd, like you could hear the heavy sigh, like even the announcer said he is dead last or whatever, and I'm thinking like, wow, I'm like what is this? I says there's no way, if there is no chance he can win. This is not Hollywood. This is not a script where he comes running at the end. So, and when he made that turn for home, when he all of a sudden he started coming down with that long, he's got that tremendous long stride, and he was just gobbling up the ground, And I was just thinking, this is no way. What I'm seeing, I was like everybody else. I was watching this unfold before me, thinking, where's this horse come from? I mean, he just shows us something, spectacular every time he runs. But it was just, it's unbelievable feeling, but of great satisfaction, because I sort of felt a little guilty bringing him here, but I want him to, he didn't get to go through the classic, so he doesn't have American Pharaoh was touched millions of hearts, win the Triple Crown, a great horse, and then I have this other great horse. So now, he has to establish himself, and I think today, we all knew he was this great horse, but he hadn't had a lot of, his racing, he's been very lucky, but I think today, if anybody wasn't super impressed with that, they just don't like horse racing.
Quite emotional, aren't
Yeah, I still can't believe he won the race. All I could say, like my wife Jill, we were just so. How did that happen? How did he pull it off? That was a good horse. There were good horses in there. I knew this was going to be his toughest challenge.
Mike, what do you think happened at the beginning? Was he half asleep? Was he thinking this is all going to be too easy? Can you put what?
It's hard to say. He's used to having. In America we always have someone really stick their head up into the doors. He's used to some different things, but. For whatever happened, I think it just happened for a reason. It made this race, and it made him much more impressive than if he would have broken light second. Can you imagine? What he did after all that. It might have just been kind of a boring race. It made it an unbelievable race, man. It truly did. And just when you get to ride for a man like this, man, you stay confident. You stay confident.
I'm just glad my heart doctor was here tonight, so he was. We were on red alert.
So presumably, will the horse now have a little bit of a easy time for a bit, and then back to try and win the Breeders' Cup, presumably at the end of the year again?
Yeah, that's the plan. Well, he deserves a good freshening. He's been so good to us, so we're gonna really take care of him. And Prince Khaled, he says the most. I asked Garrett O'Rourke, I says, is there any race that the Prince would like to really win? And he says the Breeders' Cup Classic. He likes, for American Stallion, whatever. So we'll just sit with Garrett and the Prince, and we'll just freshen him up. And I want to make sure, we'll just back up. Breeders' Cup Classic and just back it up.
Garrett, if you could just sort of sum it up from an owner's perspective and the team watching. Your trainer's been through the ringer. Were you going through the ringer as well, and the team going through the ringer?
These are probably the first words I've gotten out of my mouth since the break. It's fabulous. We did have a pause probably after the Pegasus, and did not commit to coming to this race for the reason of not wanting to overburden Bob with the pressure of having to make a decision, number one, and the horse also. So we waited and waited and waited. All the signals were good to come here, and we were even talking earlier about what made it worthy of coming here. Well, I think sometimes when you have a great athlete and they have the capabilities, and you're not sure whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do, you've got to take the chance and let them flaunt their stuff. And I didn't expect that he'd have to flaunt it so much today, but it was very impressive. I'm delighted. Sometimes a circumstance presents itself to allow a horse to show really how brilliant he is, or an athlete just to show how brilliant it is, and he got that opportunity today. It wouldn't have been our choice, but I'm delighted now with the way that it worked out, that he got to show how brilliant, because he had to be brilliant to win today.
Well, Bob, he's touched a lot of people's hearts today. It obviously sounds like your heart's had a tester today. Then
I think Garrett, he summed it up. He had to show, he had to be really brilliant to win after the circumstance like that. But it was, I think it's one of those, watching racing. I've been here, and like watching Zenyatta, when Zenyatta won the Breeders' Cup, I had a horse in the race and I got beat, and I was so excited that I was there to witness it and to be part of that. Everybody left that day so happy, feeling good about our sport. And I think anybody that was here tonight is going to leave here thinking, wow, I'm glad I was there to witness it and to see greatness. Because whether it's sports, whether it's football, track, whatever, watching people came out here like Olympics. Usain Bolt, we expect him to do something like that. And I think to be part of racing and be part of a horse like this was, that was pretty incredible. I mean, the feeling, I don't know how you won that race.
Well, I think on behalf of us, or of all of us here, I think we want to say thank you for bringing him, because, as you quite rightly say, we will all take away a very special memory of a very special horse. Thank you all.
Thank you. And I want to thank everybody in Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed and his team, and they really welcomed us. They've bent over backwards to help us out, whatever we needed. And but I'm glad it worked out, because that is a long flight home. But I'm really going to enjoy it. I don't need my laptop.
Bob, Mike, thank you very much. Thank you very much.